Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and good evening for all of you, my students there. Nice to meet you in our virtual learning for today. Today is our meeting 12, yeah. For today, we talk about the formal conversation for our chapter 11. Here, you can listen and watch this video. Thank you. Okay, as I said later, our topic for today is about formal conversation. And as we know, in English, there are two kinds of language, that we can use in our situation and condition. The first is formal conversation, and the second one is informal conversation. Actually, what do you think about the difference between both of them here? I mean, for the formal and informal situation. Okay, let's see. Okay, if we talk about the formal English, we can use the formal English in our speaking, in our communication to the others. That in that case, we get more serious the conditions and situations. And also, for example, like you don't know about the people well, for example, so you can use the formal language, in your speaking. And in language, not only in the spoken, but also in the written, we can use the formal conversation. For example, like in some official documents, okay, some new articles, your papers, your thesis, okay, your essay in your study, your speech when you want to communicate and interact. For example, like the older people than you, you must use the formal, or maybe you wanna interact with your lecturer in the class, okay. And of course, about the people you don't know well, you must use the formal language in your speaking. And also, when you want to apply for the formal language in your speaking, you must look at your grammar. You must apply the correct grammar, okay. And also, the using of the language is, of course, more to longer, okay, longer than informal language, and of course more advanced in your vocabulary. So that's why when you want to use the formal language in your speaking, you must use the correct grammar and the suitable vocabulary, okay. Meanwhile, for the informal situation here, we can use in our daily activity. Every day you want to interact to your friends, maybe with your family, maybe, okay, in your house, in your home, or in your school, in your study, okay, in your daily activity with your friends, close friend, you can use the informal language here. And of course, when you want to write something, okay, you want to give a letter, I mean for personal letter, you can use the informal language. And in the informal language here, it's not always 100% correct for the grammar, okay. The someone you know about your language, that's okay. You cannot use and need the correct grammar. For example, how about the subject, how about the verb, how about the object, not like that. The listener can know about what you mean, you can use it, your language. And of course, in informal situation here, informal language, use short sentence, okay, not like formal language. And you can apply the contracted forms of the verb, for example, like the contraction word, like isn't, aren't, won't, can't, like that. But in formal language or formal conversation, you cannot apply for the constructive forms. You cannot apply the word isn't in your thesis. No, you cannot apply your words isn't in your speech when you present, for example, in front of the class, or maybe in your work, in your job. You can't do that. You can't do that, right? And then, of course, in informal conversation, you can use a slang word. That's about the differentiate between formal and informal conversation. Actually, you must know about this one, so you can apply the situation is suitable on you. Okay, the next one. Okay, let's see. Here, there are some examples of the sentences in informal and formal English. Okay, for example, like this one. When you want to use the formal conversation, you can use the word please here, yeah, and like the using of word could, would you like, would you, and then in behind you can apply for the word please. It's more formal than when you give me the salt, will ya? Formal, right? With your friends you can do it, but with your lecturer maybe, could you explain me please, like that, formal one. Explain me, yeah. I think it's impolite. Okay, so you must know about the condition and situation around you. Okay, and for example, this one, for the formal English, I regret to inform that, okay, it's more polite than I'm so sorry to tell you that. Should you have a problem, please feel free to call. It's more formal, it's more polite than call me if you have any problems. Okay, and then it was clearly indicated in the documents. It said so on the paper. Okay, here there are some sentences that you can see the differentiate between formal and informal conversation. So it is important. It's so important for you, okay, to know and to understand about the differentiate here, so that when you are in formal situation and condition, you must also apply for the formal conversation in your speaking. But if you are in the close situation with your friends, with your family, in your daily activity, you cannot use the polite word. Impolite, that's okay, because impolite can be categorized in informal conversation. Okay, you must know and give your attention about here, because it's important. I think it's important for you. Next, okay, here there are some words, yeah, that we can see the differentiate between informal and formal. For example, like the using of the word because. Okay, because can be used in informal, but for the formal you can use due to. Okay, like the word begin, informal for begin, and then for formal commands, busy for informal, occupied for formal, check for informal, verify for formal, enough and sufficient, get, receive, make sure, ensure, you can use, okay, the suitable word in your conversation. Next one. Okay, here I have an examples in the conversation based on our model. Let's see. Okay, here there are two persons, yeah, Jane and Leslie, and their conversation is formal conversation. Yeah, the situation. Jane, Leslie. Oh, sorry, not two person but three are here. Jane, Leslie, and Mary are having lunch at the restaurant. Since they will have to give a presentation on etiquette rules next week, they try to practice by talking very formally to each other. Okay, for example, here we can see, yeah, the first Jane, Leslie, may I borrow your cell phone to call my mother after we finish lunch? And then Leslie answer, yes, of course, Jane. And please do not forget to ask your mother whether you may go to the movies with us afterwards. And then Mary, okay, said, Jane, could you pass the salt, please? And then Mary, okay, said also, Jane, sir, here you are. And then Mary, and the paper too, please, thank you. And then Jane answered, you're welcome. And then Leslie, would both of you mind if I stopped by Marcus' bookstore on our way to the movie? And then Jane, no, not at all. Then Mary, I would love to look at their new book selection, so I would like to stop there also. And then Jane asks, would both of you like to go shopping after the movie? And then Leslie, maybe some other time. I need to be home by 5 o'clock. And then Mary, I can go with you if you want. And then Jane, that would be great. I need to pick up a gift for my brother. His birthday is on Sunday next week. What would you recommend, Mary? And then Mary answered, just a moment, please. Let me think. Maybe a fishing pool since he loves fishing. And then Jane, what a clever suggestion. My brother will thank me for the lovely gift. I hope there is a fishing store in the mall. And then Leslie, I ordered too many French fries. Would anybody care for some? Then Jane answered, yes, I would like some. And Leslie, how about you, Mary? And then Mary, no, thank you. I have enough already. And Jane, Leslie, would you like some of my fried rice? And then Leslie answered, yes, please, just a little bit. And then Jane, here you go. And then Leslie, oh, that's enough. No more, please. And then Jane, Mary, do you remember to bring my Harry Potter book? Mary, oh, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot about it. Could you call to remind me again tonight? And then Jane answered, certainly. And then Leslie, if you do not mind, may I borrow the book after you are done with it? And then Jane, I promise to let John borrow it after I get it back from Mary. You're welcome to have it once John finishes. John is the fast reader. He will finish it on time. And then Leslie, I, on the other hand, I'm a pretty slow reader. How long do you think may I carry it? And then Jane, I'll already read it, so you may keep it as long as you want. Give it back to me at your earliest convenience. And Leslie, thank you, Jane. That will save me money. Mary, are we all done? We should leave now or catch the next show. Otherwise, we will be late. And then Leslie, I'm ready anytime you are. And then Jane, so I am. Shall we go? Okay, here we can see some sentences here in informal conversation from here. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. May I borrow your cell phone to call my mother after we finish lunch? Okay, this is the kinds of informal, yeah. But here Leslie here trying to respond informal one. Yes, of course, Jane, and please do not forget to ask. Do not, okay, do not is the constructed word here. And then for the Mary here, could you pass the salt, please? This is the formal conversation. Formal conversation by using Mary here. Used by Mary here. Okay, could you pass the salt, please? The using of could and in behind of sentence use please. And actually there are some sentence that you can see in a formal conversation here. Okay, not only here, but here I wanna you to identify first about the formal conversation and informal based on this conversation. Okay, then about the grammar review here related to the contraction word. Contraction word here is the kinds of verb don't have to be completely written out. For example, like I am, okay, in the full form like this, but in the contraction or you can use in your informal conversation like I am, okay, with apostrophe am. Same like the other words here. You are, you are not, you aren't. He, she, it is. He, she, it's. Okay, it is not, it isn't. I have, I've. I have not, I haven't. It has, it's. It has not, it hasn't. Okay, I had, I'd, and etc. Until I could not, I couldn't, like that. That's in contradiction. So when you want to apply for the formal conversation, you cannot apply for contraction in your speaking. All of the contraction word here can be used on the informal situation or informal conversation. Next, about the auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs here is the kinds of verbs here that we can use with a maintained verb to express about the different meaning. For example, like the using of can, yeah, can used to express about the ability, request or grant permission, and then could here, okay. For could express about the ability, right, or skill in the past, because could is the second form of can, yeah. And then we can use to express our conditional possibility, about express politeness, express suggestion, and the same meaning as can with less certainty. That's about the differentiate between can and could. The next one about will and then would. If we see will here to express about our future action and our comment. Meanwhile, for the would here express about a request or desire, would like request, express habit, implied condition, future in the past sentence, and express an intention. So if you want to apply for the formal, yeah, it's better if you apply would in your speaking. Would you like to join me at in her party? Please, for example, like that. Okay. That's for your request for the someone else. And then ought to and let. For ought to here, expressible obligation or duty. Meanwhile, for let, for the suggestion. Next, may and might. May and might. May for the permission or express about the polite request. Okay. For example, like the first, here, may I borrow your cell phone? This is okay for polite conversation, for polite language. Okay, polite language can be concluded into formal conversation. So like this, the second one, to express possibility or even condition happening, desire, then might for quicker possibility than may. And then must and should. For must and should, must is to express a requirement or necessity, express a command, express a high level, then should express obligation or duty, strong probability or expectation. Okay, that's about the review of grammar here about auxiliary verbs and contraction of word. Okay, only that about our material for today. Thank you. The last I say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and good evening to all of you guys. Thank you. See you next meeting. Bye bye.